pak me mysafirët e parë për sot.
Shikues të televizionit TV1, gjendemi këtu në oborrin e Fakultetit të Filologjisë për të realizuar një intervistë me profesorin të nderuarin i cili ka ardhur nga Arabia Saudite, i cili ka përfunduar në fakt edhe studimet e tij bachelor në gjuhë dhe letërsi orientale, i cili aktualisht është rektor në Universitetin e Napolit La Orientale, me të cilin do të diskutojmë më gjerësisht rreth vizitës së tij e cila ka bërë në Republikën e Kosovës, gjithsesi edhe në fakultetin apo në Universitetin e Prishtinës dhe i njëjti të na jep detaje më shumë. Professor Rektori, thank you again to do this interview together. You are in Kosovo for a visit to the University of Pristina as a rector of La Oriental University. Can you tell us about a little bit the level of cooperation between your university and the University of Pristina?
There is a first layer of cooperation because L'Orientale in Naples has the most ancient chair in Albanian studies in the world, which was founded exactly in 1900, so that is at the beginning of the 20th century, thanks to the initiatives of Harbresh in Italy. And so there is strong connection for the teaching on Albanian language. I know because also since previous Yugoslavia time, Pristina was the main center for the study and the knowledge and also for the scholars of Albanian languages. More recently, the director here of the Department of Philology, who is a Persianist, came and visited us. We are also a big center in the study of Persian, Turkish, Arabic. So I came here to visit the rector of university to strengthen the relation connected not only to Albanian language, but also in relation to the study of Persian, Ottoman, and Ottoman history, I would say, in Turkish. So we are very close to the small department of Oriental Studies here inside the Faculty of Philology. So the reason is really to start a deeper cooperation.
Honorable Rector Totoli, yesterday at the Faculty of Philosophy at the UP, you held a lecture on the topic that concerns Cunius Propheturum by Pietro Bogdani, 1630 and 1689, and the study of Islam and the Quran in Europe. Can you briefly tell us what you're discussing in this lecture?
Yes, while I'm a rector, I'm also a principal investigator in a big European Council project during 6 years, 10 million euro of financial, about the history of the Quran and Islam in the medieval and modern age history of Europe. Inside the history, there is the 17th century history of Catholic Italy, where Islam, Arabic was studied by missionaries. But what is more important, in Padua, in the Oriental typography of the Cardinal Barbarigo, was also printed Cunius Prophetarum by Peter Bogdani, which is the most ancient work in Albanian. I have a PhD student of Albanian origin in Italy, grown up in Italy, whose name is Sabriye Hojai, who is working on the supposed Oriental sources also for this work by Bogdani. Actually, Islam and the Quran is not the main focus of the work, but you have some traces of the fact that Bogdani was living here also with Muslims and so on. Yeah. So the reason was to come here to update this important university about this large European project and how Eastern Europe in this story of Islam and the knowledge of Islam and the Quran in Western Europe is important.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little about the study of Islam and the Quran in medieval Europe? How was the Quran received at this time?
At the beginning of the spread of Islam in Europe, in Northern Africa, it is quite interesting that the first reaction of Europe was to study more, to know more about the personality of the Prophet Muhammad, and the approach and the study and the reading of the Quran started only in the 12th century in Spain, where there were Muslims knowing Arabic, and the first translation is from that age. After it, many different stages came to light in Europe. There was a missionary interest, and when with the beginning of the modern era and the modern age, things changed because the discovery of America, the invention of the printing with movable type, also the division between Protestants and Catholic, we see many authors and many works citing the Quran, citing Islam. Actually, most of them were polemical work. But inside polemics, you also find traces of a growing interest to know better Islam and the Quran.
In your biography, we saw that you are leading a very large project entitled the European Quran. Can you tell us what you are researching with this project?
This project is a large project in 4 different universities in Europe: Naples, L'Orientale, the Consejo in Madrid, the University of Nantes in France, and Copenhagen in Denmark. My unit and myself, we are working on the collections in Italy of Oriental manuscripts and how these were used in the knowledge of Iran, of Islam, of the Quran, and so on. Myself, I'm mainly working on the first printed Qurans, because the first printings of the Quran were realized in Europe and actually in Italy. The first Quran was printed in Venice in 1537, and then tried to understand from these Qurans with some mistakes, some things which is not clear, which were the sources, and how these first entrepreneurs in the production of books fought in the beginning of the 16th century to trade with printed Quran. It is an amazing story of relations before the contemporary age.
Professor Totoli, we have read that there is a lot of material to be had in religion is Orientalism in Italy. What is the current state of this study in Italy and in Europe?
Italy has been absolutely not a so big school like France or Great Britain, I would say also Germany, but it has a very strong and long tradition going back to the 19th century with many important figures, and now it is a small community of scholars participating more or less to the wide world debate about Islamic studies. In Italy, like everywhere, we are in a situation where the old colonial attitudes are past, and fortunately new attitudes are emerging. And what I would say, it is more important mainly in North America and in Northern Europe, where we see many scholars coming from Muslim countries or Muslim descents, grown up and educated all over the world and participating to the debate. The old age of Orientalism, I guess, and I'm happy about it, is finished.
The final question I have for you, Professor Totoli, is do you think that there is a clash between Western and Islamic civilization, or was Samuel Huntington theory wrong?
This is a very complex question and a more complex answer. What also we are trying to demonstrate with this project, that the Quran and Islam were not alien to Europe, at least Western Europe, and Islam somehow is a different declination of the same things, because I'm spending so much time in giving also public lectures saying that Muslims are not alien to Christian civilization. There is much more difference with Indian religions, with Chinese cultures, and so on. But sometimes, and most of the time, the clashes are born by politics, problems of different kinds, and if people can grow, have work, to see their children to grow up, they are happy even if they are of different religions. But when there are other problems, religions are also used to clash these civilizations.
Professor Totoli, thank you very much to do this interview for our television.
Thank you to you and to your TV channel.
Thank you. Pra shikues të televizionit të VN, kaq kishim nga kjo intervistë realizuar me rektorin dhe profesorin Roberto Totoli, i cili aktualisht është rektor në Universitetin La Orientale në Itali. Faleminderit shumë, shihemi në intervistat e radhës.